this whole building.
Thank you.
My daughter was like 4 years old, 5 years old. I had this one, so I wasn't.
Standing at the podium. Oh, I just started the beginning.
But there is this. Oh, okay. Yeah, I prefer being here because when I read, there are. Yes. Yes. Oh, no, if you have a pointer, I want to. So the top one is the pointer. Yeah, I might. Okay, for the screen. Yes, okay.
Are you playing any sound?
You know, there is one video, hopefully it will work, about the cheetah grotto. So it's like 2 minutes. So just to see, it has just music, so it's not.
In that case, I'm going to plug this in. Because we'll need to hear the audio.
Yeah.
If you can, when I'm done here, if you can pull up the video so we can test it real quick.
Yeah, that's
Oh, it does. That's okay.
That would be nice.
That would be nice. I'm just wanting to make sure that we're going to get sound.
because we're gonna have.
all this. I need to stop having a video here. I think that's working.
So what is it now?
Good enough, thank you. I'll see if I can fix that.
So if you don't want to click this again, and if you save time, you just exit out of the presentation, go down here, right there, and then I think it's weird with the projector, but sometimes I have to click this and I drag it over here, and it shows up on the screen.
Oh,
So
I see.
might
Yeah,
have
you
to
will have
with that,
when you get here.
yeah, I'll be ready. Start by making some announcements and everything. You can just stand wherever you want. We have some delicious pastries over there from Bagatelle Bakery. Don't expect those from me every time, but I thought this was an especially perfect time to get some French Lebanese pastries this morning. So eat all of those. Also, the coffee today was donated by the Spice Merchant. So we would just like to thank our sponsor, the Spice Merchant, for donating that coffee. Lebanon is not a coffee producing country, but our friends at the Spice Merchant like to always try to stick to a theme as best as they can. So this coffee is their Red Sea blend, grown in Yemen. And next month's speaker is going to be Dr. Matt Howland from Wichita State University. That will be October 17th if you want to mark your calendars. Dr. Howland will be giving a talk called Digital Archaeology and the Biblical World. He says, digital techniques such as 3D modeling and computer-based mapping are changing the ways in which archaeology is done in the 21st century. These techniques can reveal new insights about the ancient past. This talk focuses on how the application of digital and scientific technologies to the Iron Age archaeology of southern Jordan has produced new discoveries and knowledge of the biblical kingdoms in southern Jordan. So mark your calendars for October 17th. Also, before we get started today, I just want to say that this topic, there is tragedy happening right now. There is a conflict there, but I don't want us to get too into politics today. Obviously, there will be political history in this presentation because Lebanon is a country that has been ruled by history. Of conflicts that have happened, but during our Q&A, I don't want us to get too bogged down into modern politics, although I do want you to ask questions in good faith for our speaker and with respect for her and where she's come from. And also, I just would like to take a moment of silence to think of the victims in Lebanon. There have been many civilians who have been wounded and injured, and some have lost their lives in recent days. And so if you would please join me in a brief moment of silence to think of them and to think for peace. Thank you. So today we are delighted to have Sirana Jamkartanian, an associate educator of French, Arabic, and first-year seminars at Wichita State University. Born and raised in Lebanon, Sirana speaks Arabic, French, English, and Armenian, and she earned a degree in journalism and mass media. For more than 11 years, she worked in Lebanon as a senior reporter and editor covering the presidential palace, where she interviewed prominent world figures for many magazines and newspapers that covered various political, economic, and social issues. After her arrival in the United States, she hosted the talk show, The Sirana Show, in Wichita, Kansas for 3 years. She has also been an advocate for women, diversity, and cultural issues. So please give a warm welcome to Sirana Jamkartanian.
Good morning. Thanks for coming. So today I'm going to introduce you about this small country that called Lebanon that has a history of nearly 5,000 years, and it's one of the oldest 5,000 years, yeah, and it's one of the oldest countries in the world. So we're gonna dive into the civilization that passes through centuries through Lebanon, and why Lebanon is the most beautiful country in the Middle East, and is known as the Pearl of the Middle East, the Paris of the Middle East, the Switzerland of the Middle East. And you will ask why this little tiny country that we're gonna see his location on the map, and you will be surprised how small this country is. So I'm going to briefly overview Lebanon, talk about his geography, historical background, major landmarks, and cultural diversity. How is this country is Paris of the Middle East? Languages, because Lebanon is known, Lebanese are known of being multilingual. Religions. In Lebanon we have 17 congregations, and we talk here about the diversity and how the cohabitation between these religions working in Lebanon after all the conflict that happened and is still happening, and they still live together and care for each other. I'm going to talk a little bit about the freedom of expression, speech, and religion, and you will be amazed how this little country in the Middle East has all of these factors. And I'm going to emphasize a little bit about women and their role in the society, into the society. Welcome again. Here it is. So here's some pictures. Okay. Here are some pictures that shows the diversity of nature, in Lebanon. So you see the shore, the seaside, you see the mountains, and you see the Bekaa Valley. So we're gonna talk a little bit about. If you can look at the map, here is the tiny Lebanon on the world map. So Lebanon is a very small country located in the east of the Middle East, covering an area of 10,452 kilometers. Which is about 4,036 square miles. So Kansas State is 40. As of 2024, its population is approximately 5.8 million people. So Lebanon is located at the eastern shore of the Mediterranean Sea and shares borders with Israel and Syria. So in the south, it borders with Israel, and in the north and the east, it's bordered with Syria. The history of Lebanon. Lebanon is deeply rooted in ancient civilization. It was home to the Phoenicians since 1500 to 300 BC. So 1500 CE to 300 BC. The Phoenicians were known as seafarers and traders who established the major cities of Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos, Sur, Saida, and Jbel. Around the 3rd millennium BCE, over the centuries, Lebanon was conquered by various empires, including the Assyrians, Babylonians, Crusaders, Arabs, Ottomans, Greeks, Romans, and then after the Ottomans, we had the French mandate for many years. The modern state of Lebanon was established in 1920 under French mandate and gained independence in 1943. So this is why you see the French influence for Lebanon. Let's talk about Phoenicians a little bit.
Okay. The air conditioning got points.
Oh, okay. So Phoenicia, now is good, right?
Yes.
Phoenicia was an ancient civilization located along the eastern coast of the Mediterranean Sea, primarily in what is now known as modern Lebanon, as well as part of modern Syria and Israel. So it was around all this area. The Phoenicians were known for the navigation, trade, and the creation of the Phoenician alphabet, So they created the alphabet. They are the creator of the alphabet. The island city of Tyre and the city of Sidon were the most powerful states in the Phoenician empire, with Jbel, Byblos, and Baalbek as the most important spiritual religious center. Phoenician city-states began to take form starting 3200 BC and were firmly trader and manufacturer center from 1500 to 332 BCE, and was highly regarded for their skill in shipbuilding, glassmaking, the production of dyes. So they are known for the production of the purple dye. They were the first one who created the purple dye, and it's called after them. And in Arabic they call it al-irjuwan, al-lawn al-irjuwani, irjuwan. So here's some picture about their art and shipment. In all their arts, you see ships and people and fishermen or shipmen. Here, the creation of the purple dye. In modern Lebanon, the legacy of Phoenicia is still celebrated, and some people identify with the ancient Phoenicians as part of their culture. This perspective is known as Phoenicianism. So you still till now heard some Lebanese people that they will say our heritage, we are Phoenicians, we're not Arab, our heritage is Phoenician. But now we will know through the centuries how Lebanon became an Arab country. So after the Phoenician, we have the Assyrians, the Babylonians, and the Persians. After them comes the Greek, the Roman, Crusaders, the Arab, the Crusaders. So around the 8th century BC, the Assyrians conquered the Phoenician city-states in Lebanon, integrating them into their empire. So we get into the Assyrian Empire era at that time. Then following the fall of the Assyrian Empire, the Babylonians took control in the 6th century BC, continuing the legacy of domination over the Phoenician cities. In the mid-6th century BC, the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great conquered Babylon and thus gained control over Lebanon. The region became part of the Persian Empire's vast territories. Now comes the Greek, Romans, and Arabs. Alexander the Great's conquest in the 4th century BC brought Lebanon under Greek control. The Hellenistic period saw the spread of Greek culture and influence throughout the region. After the decline of the Greek Empire, the Romans took over in the 1st century. Lebanon became part of the Roman Empire, benefiting from Roman infrastructure and trade and networks. In the 7th centuries, the Arab Muslims armies conquered Lebanon, integrating it into the rapidly expanding Islamic Caliphate. This period marked at the spread of Islam and Arab culture. So here how we came to Arab culture dominating in Lebanon. After that, during 11th century, we have the Crusaders era that established several states in the regions, including the county of Tripoli. Tripoli is in the North Lebanon, and it has bordered with Syria. Their presence was relatively short-lived, but left a lasting impact. The Ottoman empires was the longest. They reigned 400 years in Lebanon and the area, Lebanon, Syria, Palestine. So they conquered Lebanon in early 16th century, ruling for over 400 years. This period saw significant administrative and social changes. So you will see how the culture is changing from century to century, from era to era. The culture of Lebanon is integrating fast with the new era, with the new empire, with the new culture. Then come the French Mandate. After World War I and the fall of the Ottoman Empire, Lebanon came under French Mandate. The French influence is evident in Lebanon's modern political and educational system. So we're gonna see why Lebanon is so impacted with the French culture. You hear Lebanese, all Lebanese speak fluently French. The French system was until the English started dominated so much. It was, and still, it's a French system, but we have, I will talk about it later, we have American system is entering the education system now. So the modern state of Lebanon has existed within its current borders since 1920. So it has different borders. It has because if you see with the Phoenician, we have Tyre, we have Sidon, we have Byblos, we have Baalbek. Now we're gonna go to Mount Lebanon. So it's expanding, and we will have the greater Lebanon before the French left Lebanon. We will go over it again. So when Greater Lebanon was created under French and British mandate, resulting from the dismemberment of the Ottoman Empire at the end of World War I. Before this date, the designation Lebanon concerned a territory with vaguely defined borders. How Lebanon earned its independence and become a independent country. So, as I said, French mandate was started in 1920 until 1943. After World War I and the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, Lebanon was placed under French mandate. In 1920, Greater Lebanon was established, laying the foundation for the modern state. So the Greater Lebanon saw the light under the French mandate. In 1943, Lebanon gained its independence from France. The National Pact, an unwritten agreement, established a power-sharing system among the country's religious communities, but France designed it to guarantee the political dominance of the Christians there. Because, as you know, Lebanon is the only not Christian country, but diverse country where Christians were the majority there. They were, the population was 65% Christians and about 45% Muslims. So France wanted to guarantee that Christians gain their power there and keep this diversity in religion. This is why in this pact it was the president, the Lebanese president, should be Christian Maronite. Maronite, I don't know if you heard about Maronite. Maronite, it's a Catholic congregation. They belong to they belong to the Catholic religion, but they are called Maronite after the Saint Maroon, a Lebanese saint. So they followed his name and they became Maronite, but they are Catholics. So the president should be always Maronite, and we'll talk about the government and how the government is shared fairly between the religious community in Lebanon. And this is what is unique in the Middle East, because you see that all the neighboring countries they have either kingdom or presidents for life, or if they have election, the election will not be, it's not independent election. So mostly they have presidents for life unless there is a coup or to change the president. But in Lebanon, we have every 6 years, we have election of a new president. And I will talk about the government system more. So Lebanon's government operates under a unique system known as confessionalism, which aims to balance power among the country's diverse religious community. And here's a breakdown of the key elements. The president is always a Maronite Christian. He is elected by the parliament for a 6-year term and is not eligible for intermediate re-election. So every 6 years, the parliament will elect a new president. The prime minister is a Sunni Muslim. So here you see how the power is shared between religion. The prime minister is a Sunni Muslim. The president, in consultation with the parliament, appoints the prime minister. And then we will have the parliament. The speaker of the parliament should be Shia. And the speaker of the parliament is elected by the parliament member. But what is the role of people of Lebanese in all of these? So people elect the parliament members. Every 4 years we have election for for the parliament members. People elect the parliament members elect their speaker, and then they appoint the president, and the president with the parliament appoint the prime minister. And with the cabinet will be the president and the prime minister, they pick the cabinet members. So here you see everything they have to do all together. They share the power, but they have to, all the decisions will be all together. They take all the decisions together. So in the parliament, we have a unique quota too. So after the time, before it was, we had 100 members of the parliament elected by the people, by the Lebanese people. After the Taif agreement in 1990, they changed it to 120 members. The 120 members are divided between Muslims and Christians. So 60 members should be Christian, and 60 members should be Muslims. And when I say Christians, you have all the congregations: Catholic, Maronite, Greek Orthodox, Greek Catholic. You have the Assyrians. You have Armenians. You have. So it should be balanced between them too. And when I say 60 members Muslims, it means that it should have, and there is a quota, how many of them should be. So you will have Sunni, Shia, Druze, Alawite, that shares the seats of the parliament. This way you have the balance between the religion, the balance of power. The cabinet of the Council of Ministers is formed by the Prime Minister and includes members from various religious communities to ensure balanced representation. Even though the vice prime minister, we don't have vice president, we have vice prime minister. So since the power is shared between Maronite, Sunni and Shia, you still have the Greek Orthodox who has influence too in Lebanon. So they appoint the vice president, the vice prime minister, Greek Orthodox. So here, balance of power. And in the cabinet, you have, here's the thing, when they decide to appoint the cabinet members, they have to be a quota. You have to have Catholic, you have to have Sunni, Shia, Druze, and all the congregation should be in the cabinet, represented in the cabinet. So you see how unique is. And Lebanon is divided in governorate, muhafazat, which are further subdivided into district, aqdiya. Each governorate is administrated by a governor, and each district by a district chief. The system established by the National Pact of 1943 and later reinforced by the Taif agreement, because at the end, the Taif agreement ended the war in Lebanon in 1990, aims to maintain political stability by ensuring that no single religious group dominates the government. So they have to be, this is a reason plus for all religions to be together. So after they gained their independence, Lebanon's history stayed under turmoil since 1946 by alternating periods of political stability and turmoil intersected with prosperity built on Beirut's position as a freely trading regional center for finance and trade. Beirut became a prime location for institutions of international commerce and finance, and well as wealthy tourists, and enjoyed a reputation of the Paris of the Middle East. So the banking system in Lebanon is secrecy. We have secret banking in Lebanon. So this is what makes all Arab countries to deposit their wealth, their money in Lebanese banks. Now we have a very corrupted, I'm not going to compare it with now what's happening in Lebanon with the corrupted system where people cannot even withdraw their monies from the banks. But this is the free, it's close to capitalism. So you have free market, you have free banking, secret banking, and free speech, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of press. So after the 1948 conflict between Israel and Palestine, we had about 120,000 Palestinian refugees came to Lebanon, and their numbers went up through the years. So they were since 1968. They were this conflict between the Palestinian and Israel, and it was impacting Lebanon big time. The civil war started in 1975 and ended in 1990. So as I was telling you, it's after the Taif Agreement where American, Europeans, all the powerful countries, they did everything to end the war in Lebanon. So they supported the Arab leagues and asked them to have the Taif Agreement, and here where the constitutions, they had changes in the constitutions. The main changes in the constitutions, they took power from the president. They took some power from the president and transferred it to the prime minister. So between 1975 and 1990, Lebanon experienced a devastating civil war involving various factions and foreign interventions. The war resulted in significant loss of life and infrastructure damage. So we have the war started in 1975, and there is a conspiracy theory that it's not written anywhere, but they talk about it, that the late Secretary of State Henry Kissinger had the plan to evacuate all Christians from Lebanon to Canada and the United States and replace Lebanon with Palestine. So they will give the land to Palestinians and they will have the Palestinian state instead of Lebanon. This didn't work. So this is a conspiracy theory. Till now they talk about it. They're not approved 100%, but it's something that interesting to learn. So the war started, and it turned to civil war. But if you ask me who was fighting who, I will tell you I don't know, because it started between Palestinians and Christians. Then the Sunni-backed Palestinians against Christians. Then Christians and Muslims were together against another religious parties. So parties was created, like we had maybe, I cannot count them. Every congregation has its own party. For example, the Shia had two main parties, which is Hezbollah and Amal. Christians have like 4, 5, 6 parties. The Kataib, the Lebanese forces, the Tayyar, which is the followers of the last president of Lebanon, Michel Aoun. You have Ahrar, you have, so it's many parties in Lebanon. Even Christians fight against themselves. Muslims fought against themselves. So we didn't know how the war started, who was fighting who, and how it ended. Always we had war. We have two parties fighting each other. And Lebanon was under war since 1975 till 1990. So I grew up during the war, and it was very confusing for us. We didn't know, why do we have war in Lebanon? Why are they fighting? What's the cause to fight? You have lots of causes. This party called this cause, that party called another cause, but this is how it was in Lebanon. Other than the war, you see that Lebanese, because the war is, as I said here, is resulted from the intervention of big countries in other countries. This small country is the place where every powerful country needs to have power on it, because its geographical position in the Middle East. It's the relation between the East and the West, and it has lots of positive impact. So they want to govern, and you saw through the centuries, all the civilizations want to dominate Lebanon. So after the war, after the 1990s, Lebanon underwent extensive reconstruction efforts. So what happened here, they elected the Prime Minister, Rafiq al-Hariri, who was assassinated, and his portfolio was to rebuild Beirut. And he rebuilt downtown Beirut. It was fantastic. This is one of the picture here. Here, and you saw he kept the European, the French architecture melted with the Lebanese and all the civilization architecture. So he rebuilt Beirut, and Beirut became again the center of prosperity, of the commerce, because you have the port of Beirut that can be the transit where they stop and they can export to the world. So this is the main, the port of Beirut. This is the main landmark of Lebanon for the economy of Lebanon. So after rebuilding Beirut, and people started to have regular life, no war, nothing. Finally, we can breathe. We can live normally without being afraid when we're gonna have, when someone will bomb us, when we're gonna go to the shelter, how we're gonna survive. So peace is here, but it was interrupted with the assassination of Rafi al-Hariri in 2005. So here I will talk a little bit about the Cedar Revolution, because in 1976, I didn't mention this, the Syrian army came to Lebanon under the cause of protecting the Christians. And then they stayed in Lebanon until 2005. So it was like they reigned Lebanon from 1976 to 1995. They dominate Lebanon. Even though we had our government, but they were like puppets under the Syrian mandate, if we can say. So after the assassination of Rafiq al-Hariri, there was the Intifada of independence, the revolution for independence. Here where people revolt, and 2 million people went downtown and they were asking for Syria to leave Lebanon after the assassination of Rafiq al-Hariri. So here you can see people in downtown. So millions of people was protesting in downtown and stayed for weeks and months following the assassination of the prime minister. So the Syrian, after that, started withdrawing from Lebanon. So here's an era where no one is governing Lebanon anymore. We had small eras when no foreign country is Lebanon. Now, Lebanon's modern history. So we'll talk about the recent challenges. Lebanon has faced numerous challenges in recent years, including political instability, economic crisis, and the 2020 Beirut port explosion. I don't know if you heard about it. Explosion. Many thousands of people were killed from that explosion, which caused destructions and loss of life. Till now, they're rebuilding the port of Beirut, which was the landmark of Lebanon that I'm talking about. Lebanon modern history is a statement to its resilience and the complex interplay of independence and following years. So let's talk about women a little bit after post-war. So women played a crucial role in shaping Lebanon's post-war culture, contributing significantly to social, economic, and political spheres. Here are some key aspects of their impact. Social and community rebuilding. During and after the Civil War, women were instrumental in rebuilding social networks and communities. They organized and participated in numerous charitable activities, focusing on aiding refugees, war victims, and displaced families, because we had lots of displaced families during the Civil War. Their effort helped to restore a sense of normalcy and community cohesion. Advocacy and women's rights. The post-war period saw a resurgence in women's movements and organizations in Lebanon. These groups advocated for women's rights, gender equality, and social justice. They played a pivotal role in raising awareness about issues such as domestic violence, legal rights, and political representation. Regarding political representation, I will talk about the timeline now when Lebanese women started voting and how they have seats in the government, in the cabinet, in the parliament, and in every government organizations they have impact. They play a big role in the Lebanese whole life. Women have been at the forefront of preserving and promoting Lebanese culture. They have contributed to the arts, literatures, and music, often using these platforms to express their experiences and perspectives on the war. Female artists, writers, and musicians have enriched Lebanon's cultural landscape with their unique voices and stories. They have also increasingly entered the workforce and entrepreneurial sectors, contributing to Lebanon's economy recovery and growth. Their participation in various industries has helped diversify the economy and promote sustainable development. Although political representation remains a challenge, women have made strides in participating in Lebanon's political life. They have been involved in grassroots movements. So during the revolution that I spoke about in 2005, the majority were women. Movement, civil society organizations, and to a lesser extent, formal political roles. Their involvement has been crucial in advocating for policy changes and reforms. Education and empowerment. Women have also played a significant role in education, both as educators and advocates of educational reforms. They have worked to ensure that girls and young women have access to quality education, which is essential of empowering future generations. Maybe 80 to 90%, 80%, I'm not gonna say 90% of women are educated in Lebanon. And they have degrees, at least a degree, if not master's and PhD. So we have women in Lebanon are well educated. The contributions of women in post-war Lebanon have been vital in shaping a more inclusive and resilient society. Their efforts continue to influence the country's cultural, social, and political landscapes. So if you see, if we look here at the timeline of the evolution in the women and on the evolution of women in society, I'm sorry. So in February 1953, Lebanese women obtained women's suffrage. So in 53, women started, 1953, women started voting in Lebanon. In 1997, Lebanon acceded to the Convention of the Elimination of All Form of Discrimination Against Women. In 1998, Lebanon established the National Commission for Lebanese Women. In 2011, Article 562, which had historically been used to reduce sentences awarded for a non-premeditated honor killing resulting from an illegitimate sexual intercourse, was scrapped by the Lebanese parliament. So, you know, in tribes, you have kind of honor vengeance. If the daughter of the sister had sexual intercourse before marriage, this is, they kill her, this is an honor vengeance. So it's not, even though in tribes, because you have tribes too in Lebanon, in the mountains, North Lebanon, you have some tribes, so this doesn't, it exists, it still exists, but it's not known. You know, they do it, no one will know, but in the parliament they have a law against the honor killing. In 2014, the Lebanese parliament finally passed a full-fledged law targeting domestic violence against women. In 2014, in December 2020, the Lebanese parliament passed a law criminalizing sexual harassment. 2021, Lebanon's Universal Periodical Review submitted recommendations designed to enhance human rights measure and protection in Lebanon. In 2022, a record 8 female candidates of different political ideologies were elected to the Lebanese parliament. And since 2000, before 2000, since 1990s, we had women in the parliament and in the cabinet. So here I want to show you some architectural ruins in Baalbek, Sidon, Sur, Tyre, Anjar. So these are Roman, Greeks, here more. Now let's talk about natural beauty of Lebanon. I put these pictures on purpose so you can see here. This is Beirut, the beach. Here the mountains, and here the ski resorts. Lebanon being 10,540 kilometers, so you can assume how long it will take you to go from here to here. It depends on the traffic. Let's leave the traffic aside. It could because the traffic is very frustrating in Lebanon. So if we leave the traffic aside, you can go from the beach to a resort in about 45 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Yeah, so you can, in the springtime, and this is what we used to do, we can go skiing in the morning, and in the afternoon, it take us, no, in the traffic, it will take us like 2 hours to get there, to be honest. We'll go to the beach to swim and to tan and to have good time. So this is how, and you pass by the mountains here. You have Mount Lebanon. It's a beautiful nature. So the scenery in Lebanon is extraordinary. So some people will compare it to California. So you have the beach, the shore, you have the mountains, you have the valley, the Bekaa Valley. So you have all the sceneries. You have 4 seasons: summer, fall, winter, and spring. And you have full seasons. So in the summer it's too hot, you go to the mountains. Most Lebanese who live in Beirut, where Beirut is the hottest place because it's on the coast. So most of them, they have mountain houses, summer houses. So you can, they will live at the mountain. And if they're going to their work, it takes them like half an hour, 45 minutes to get to work from the mountain to their work in Beirut, and the capital. You have the seaside too in Tripoli, in North Lebanon and South Lebanon. So wherever you have the seaside, you have the mountains. So this is how people, even though if they can't afford having a house there, because most of them they inherit houses from their parents, from their grandparents. So this is why you see that they have 2 houses. Either they're renting in Beirut and they have a mountain house, or they have a house in Beirut and they're renting a house in the mountain. So to flee the heat. Because with the electricity in Lebanon, not having electricity 24 hours a day, and relying on the generators, so you cannot have the AC on all the time. It's a privilege to have the AC on all the time, unless you have your own generator, and it will cost too much. So this is why they prefer to go to the mountains. So this is the nature of Lebanon. You see all the sceneries, and in 4 hours, if you take a trip around, so you can go from from the seaside to the mountain to the valley to the. So this is what's the beauty of Lebanon. Cedars of God. So Keenan was telling me how he learned lately that a ship from Egypt was built with the Lebanese cedar. So Lebanon was known in its cedars, and it's mentioned, Lebanon's cedars are mentioned in the Bible more than 5 times. The Cedars of God, located in Cherry in North Lebanon in the mountains. This ancient forest is home to Lebanon's famous cedar trees, which have historical significance and are even features on the national flag. Geita Grotto, I'm going to show you. I don't know if we still have time. It's 10 o'clock. I didn't. We still have time?
Yes.
Okay, so can we show the little video about Geita? This is one of the 7 wonders of the world. So this is why I want to show you.
Okay.
It's not showing.
Aha. Okay. And voila. So this river is inside the grotto. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little fast here. These are the landmark of Lebanon, Kadisha Valley. National Museum of Beirut. It has monuments, arts from all civilization that dated 5,000 years ago. Cultural diversity, as I said, in Lebanon we have many religions. They cohabit with each other, and here you see that even the war was civil war, but if you go to Lebanon and you see how the Christians and Muslims are melted. We celebrate together holidays, Ramadan and Christmas. When we celebrate Christmas, Muslims will come and celebrate with us. When they celebrate Ramadan, we celebrate with them. They invite us, we invite them. So the social interaction is amazing. In Lebanon. The education system, as I said, the education system is a French system. Most of the schools in Lebanon are
are French schools. Now American schools are starting dominating, but still in the Lebanese system, students learn 3 languages the same level. First it was Arabic and French. Now they added English to it, so since kindergarten they start learning the 3 languages at the same level, and they will learn the second language will be Spanish, Italian, they can choose whatever. So you see kids nowadays, they speak English fluently too. Besides French and Arabic, they speak English fluently. Why they call it the Paris of the Middle East? Due to its vibrant cultural scene. So it's the only country in the Middle East that it has freedom. Women can go out. Women, they don't have restrictions. You have cafes, you have bars, you have nightlives. So there is no restrictions from the government of how you have to live, if you can drink or you cannot drink. It's up to each person. It's personal preferences, and everybody respect the other's preferences. So if they are conservative Muslims that they don't drink and they come to your house, you will make sure that you don't show any kind of alcohol in front of them. So there is this respect, but there is this freedom. So as you see here, you have nightlives, you have cultural events. We have authors, men and women authors, females and males. Lebanon is known as its it's a culture center too in the Middle East. We have, just to talk about Khalil Gibran, the philosopher who came and lived in the United States. It's well known, I'm sure all of you who went to college, you read The Prophet, his book The Prophet, and he is the one who says, don't ask what your country, don't ask your country what your country do for you, but ask what do you do for your country. So this is Khalil Gibran's quotes on one of his books. So his well known, and it's a proud for us that we have Khalil Gibran, an author, and we have lots of cultural events in Lebanon. So this is why it's called Paris of the Middle East. The fashion, it's the capital of the fashion in the Middle East. We have Elisab and Zuhair Mrad, who are Lebanese well-known, worldwide known fashion. They dress all the celebrities, most of the celebrities in Hollywood. Cafe and nightlife, you have like Paris, Beirut is the center of cafes. All the meetings, all the gathering will be in cafes. So we have the cafe culture like France. This is the French colonial influence on the architecture in Lebanon. The hospitality, Lebanon is known with people are known with their generosity and their cuisine. So you know all about hummus and tabbouleh. So this is the mesa. Before lunch or before dinner, you will get all of these if you can eat. I think some of you experienced it, right? So we talk about freedom of speech. We have now issues now with. I showed you the bright side of Lebanon, but if we talk now about the issues that encountering Lebanon, it's not encouraging. The economy is down, the situation, the political situation, there is no elected president since 2022. and we don't have interim president in the constitution. There is the cabinet is resigned but still working, and the parliament should be. They should have the election. They should have the election 2 years ago. It didn't happen. So don't ask me how this country is still standing up, how people they're standing up, and with everyday things happening, surprises happening politically, and it's so bad. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know I exceeded my time.
So we will open it up to questions from the audience, and I have a microphone for anyone who has a question. Just raise your hand so that everyone can hear, and I'll hang on to it for you.
So many languages. Is there a dominant language that people in the street meet each other and start talking, or is it whoever
Yeah.
talks first determines which language?
The Arabic is dominant, but Lebanese people are known in integrating languages together, and they make this joke that Lebanese will say, "Hi, Kif." Thank you. So they integrate the three languages in one sentences. So.
What's the currency in Lebanon?
It's lira. And don't ask about the currency. The lira is the equivalent of now how many $1,000? 100,000? About 100,000. Oh no, about one lira is the equivalent of $1 is the equivalent. I'm sorry, I got lost. $1 is the equivalent of 100,000 lira. So you can imagine the economic situation over there.
I acknowledge, first of all, I know that the Lebanese migrated to Kansas in like 1890s, and I don't know how they found Kansas, but we've had that population here. But in your talk, you were talking in 2011 about the honor killings. Is that a reference to like abortion of the fetus, or did they actually kill the male or female that they felt?
Yeah, no, not abortion. Since Lebanon, you have these religions dominance. They interact in the politics, and so abortion is not legal in Lebanon. But what I was talking about is the honor killing. If your daughter or your sister, men, I'm talking about men, went out with a guy and they had a sexual intercourse. She got pregnant, for example, out of the marriage. This is what I'm talking about. Not because she get
allow you to kill him.
her. They kill her, not him. They kill her. Did I answer your question? Yeah, this is the honor killing. They killed the woman. But now in the Constitution, because there wasn't in the Constitution something to prevent that, and when it became common among the tribes, so they did this Constitution. They add this law to the Constitution, the bill.
What was the cause of that explosion several years ago in Beirut?
The port explosion. Do you know what caused it?
There is conspiracy theories. They said that I don't know if a party, a country, they did it on purpose, but and till now they still investigating till 2005. In Lebanon, investigation they go under they got buried. So they still in investigation until now. They said it was, it happened. It happened. They were nitrate in the port, and there was an accident, and it exploded. But it's impossible. It's man-made. But the investigation is still on. They know who did it, but they cannot say. So they're investigating. We'll see. I'm sure the government knows who did it, but they're not telling us.
Any other questions? I have one for you.
Okay.
So you speak Armenian, Arabic, French, and English. What order did you learn those? What was your first language, and then what was the order that you learned all of those in?
So at home, since I'm originally Armenian, my parents wanted to preserve the Armenian language. So at home, we were speaking always Armenian, but when you go out, the common languages were Arabic and French. And when we start schools, French was dominating because we had to speak French. All our subjects were in French, and we learned Arabic grammar, and after that in high school we learned Arabic literature and French literature. We learned Arabic philosopher and French philosopher. So it was balanced, but this is how it started. English, it was as a second language because at school they were teaching us English, how they teach here second language. This is how we took English like 2 or 3 times a week. This is how we learned English since 4th grade. Yeah.
And your family being Armenian, did they get there? We learned a few months ago about the Franco-Turkish War and how Armenians got moved around. Is that when your family moved to Lebanon, or had they been there for a long time? When did they get there?
So my grandparents moved to Lebanon. They were kids during the genocide. So they placed them in Lebanon, during the Armenian genocide. They placed groups in the diaspora, in all countries. So my grandparents were placed in Lebanon. They were kids still. So my parents were born in Lebanon, but at the era of my parents, they had to speak Armenian because they had in their mind that they're going back to Armenia. Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Matt, did you have one? No? Making sure I can see everyone around the pillars here. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your questions.
Thank you.
So much. I'm going to make some quick announcements here so I don't forget.
While Keenan's getting his announcements, I wanted to make a quick announcement real quick. For those of you who don't know, hi, my name's Kristen. I'm the marketing director here at the museum. You guys have probably all noticed me up here fiddling with a bunch of stuff. So for those of you who maybe didn't see it on our email or our posts or haven't watched one before, we've been putting a lot of work lately into recording these talks and putting them up online. So these are available live while they're happening. So if, say, during the winter you're wanting to come to one of these and it's too snowy to come out, you can always go to your email and pull up the link and watch this live on YouTube. Or if, say, afterwards you want to go show one of your friends this really awesome lecture about Lebanon you just saw, you can again go back to that email and you can find that link to our YouTube, and that recording will be on there. We're also live streaming to this platform called Twitch, which is more for younger folks. Mostly people play video games on there, but there's people there and they can learn. So we are also live streaming to Twitch, so if you know anyone who uses that, be sure and pass along the link and give us some watches. That helps us get our stuff out there. So without further ado, I'll give you back to Keenan.
Thank you, Kristen. So yeah, watch us online. If you ever can't make it to any of these, they're all going to be there. So thank you everyone for being here, and remember, next Coffee with the Curator is October 17th, and that's with Dr. Matt Howland. And we also have Senior Wednesday, our other program, coming up in 2 weeks on October 2nd. And it's called Senior Wednesday, but all ages are welcome. Very similar to this event if any of you haven't been there. And that's at 1:30 p.m. on October 2nd. See you all at both of those. And merci encore to Sirana Jamkartanian. That was a wonderful presentation. Merci mille fois. And have a great day, everybody. Enjoy your coffee and snacks.
Can I have the flashback?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Hopefully it was time, so.
No, that's fine. It's going really well. We like to give people a few extra minutes to keep talking. That was really good. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a class.
Switch on my phone because I was having issues with it.
Keep in touch.
Yeah.